Morning guys, Andy Adding here. Just wanted to talk about QBA session number 8. We are moving right along. So session 8 is not too dissimilar to session number 7. The warm-up routine is session C, so just make sure that you run through those before you get out there so you know what you're up against. Throwing program will go for 18 minutes, so you'll probably notice that we're increasing the length of that throwing program by a minute each session at the moment. The juniors are doing a count throwing program in the early stages of that. Once they've got through the early stages of the 5 successfully completed throws at each distance, then they can continue to throw at a greater distance. If they want to stretch back and do some long toss, they should be more than prepared to do that by now. But they've got a total of 18 minutes for their throwing program. Seniors are still doing the Jaeger throwing program. With the juniors, if by chance you still have some taped balls and you want to use those to reinforce what we talked about a couple of weeks ago with regards to throwing with good backspin, then by all means hit them with that as well. We're going to take infield outfield routine right after we warm up our arms. And again, at the end of that infield outfield routine, we're going to finish with some pop-ups. So have the outfielders go back into position and don't just hit a pop-up to the catcher. Just belt out a bunch of pop-ups and make sure that everyone catches one before they come off. So a bit of a challenge there with the fungo to make sure you can hit them where the guys are at and try and make sure that they build their confidence by making sure that everyone gets to catch at least one. So work your way through that. Based on the standard of the infield outfield routines, there's pretty broad range of kids still involved. So for those midweek sessions, which this session 8 will be one of those. I'm not too fussed necessarily about limiting the number of balls yet, but let's just make sure that we reinforce the things that are going to lead to better execution. So moving your feet, making sure you get a good grip, hit your target, follow your throw, making sure our outfielders are throwing through the cutoff, so long hops to the destination base, but at a cuttable height, and then make sure that the cutoff people are adjusting themselves based on that. Once we get to individual D, we've got blocking and receiving for the catches, so you can change up the drills a little bit if you want, but make sure that they get some opportunity to practice those things. Infielders are doing reviewing the 6Fs and ground balls, both forehand and backhand, and outfielders are going back for balls over the head and balls up against the fence. Again, you'll have to assess how many people you've got to throw bullpens. We've got a fair few guys that want to throw bullpens at the moment, so make sure you keep your catches rotating through. We've identified already that we're really short on numbers for catches, so we need to probably organise this at the start of our sessions as well to identify people that not only that are specifically catchers, but people who are willing to potentially catch as well as part of the bullpen and rotate some guys through there. So maybe people that catch occasionally, we need to identify some of those that can help with some of those bullpens. And again, we need to keep an eye out or have a bit of a think about is anyone else that we could potentially invite for the sake of having some more catchers to catch bullpens. When the pitchers are in the bullpen, we need to make sure that we're filling in our bullpen assessment charts. Make sure you've got their name and the date on each of those charts and then collect them at the end. I will hopefully this week start collecting some of those. I'm going to chart all of those, so we'll have a spreadsheet with everybody's name on the list, and when they throw bullpens we'll record their results. So hopefully over time we can see some improvement with their execution. The hitting is basically the same as session 7, so it's a live BP session. Again, make sure you organise your BP throwers in advance. Make sure you stick to your time schedule based on whether you're having 3 rotations or 4, and like I said, you can use that if you need more time to get through all of your hitters. Use that conditioning session as one of the rotations in that last section of the training. The last thing I just want to touch on is we need to make sure that that safety is our first priority. We need to make sure that as coaches it's our responsibility to make sure that we actually check the conditions, and we need to make sure that we make any appropriate adjustments in the schedule if the conditions are not appropriate. So we've had a couple of things come up the last couple of weeks that means we need to stay on top of that. That's pretty important. I've also left, I think all of you guys have got a little cooler bag for ice, we need to make sure that we have ice at every session. You can't necessarily rely on, particularly at the midweek sessions, you can't necessarily rely on the clubs to have their canteen open and that sort of stuff. So make sure that you've got ice at every session. Make sure that those little bags have some freezer bags still in the front. They should have when you guys got them at the start, but if they don't, stay on top of that. Any of your ice and stuff that you pay for, just make sure you keep the receipts, and I will reimburse you for those at the end. But any issues, any questions, by all means, make sure you let me know. Rocking along pretty good at this stage, but we just need to stay on top of things. So yeah, going well. So good luck on the sessions this week, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.